Hey guys, CDTVThaG here, and the G, of course, stands for growth hormone. And today we're going to be reacting to the new j.cole album, KOD, which I believe stands for Killing Our Demons, Kids on Drugs, and King Overdose. Now, to just summarize my quick thoughts on j.cole, I think j.cole makes great music, but I wouldn't say he's like in my top 5 or top 10. I used to say he was, but then I realized there's a lot of songs of his that I don't enjoy that much. There's a lot of songs of his that I find to be kind of bland. But there's also a lot of music from him that I thoroughly enjoy. You know, 2014 Forest Hills Drive is a great album in my opinion. I didn't like his last one, For Your Eyes Only. I thought the story being told was great. The music itself just didn't pull me in. The album cover, I do like the art style of it, but it's like the least subtle thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like, hey guys, did you know kids do drugs nowadays and rappers promote it a lot? I never. But let's start with this. So track number 1, intro. I'm always kind of excited and nervous when big rappers drop a new project because I really don't know. I feel like the best thing is to go in with no other expectations than wanting it to be good. You know, I do not know how this is going to sound. It could be completely different from everything else he's released. So let's just do it. Track number 1, which is the intro. I'm actually getting kind of Joji vibes from this, just the singing and the jazzy sound. I mean, Joji doesn't really do jazzy sound, but...
A newborn baby has 2 primary modes of communication.
Okay.
Laughter, which says, I love this.
And crying like a little bitch, yep.
Which says, this frightens me.
I'm assuming from what was said there that we got a little bit of a concept going with this album. I'm not 100% sure, I could be completely wrong, but the kind of vibe I got from that intro is that this album is either going to be about all the kind of different ways of coping with pain in your life, like it just said, you know, because she said there are different ways of coping with pain in your life, choose wisely. So, you know, that can definitely lead into the whole drugs conversation. You know, some people use that to deal with their pain, and maybe we'll also hear other methods of dealing with it. I could be completely wrong with that, but that's the kind of idea I've got from this intro. I deal with my pain by bottling up and suppressing it all. I'm very happy. Well, there we go. That's the intro track out the way. Yeah, quite an interesting way to start it. Like I said, I think it introduced a bit of a concept with, you know, dealing with pain, using drugs to deal with it, stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how that continues into the next song, which is the title track, KOD. So let's not waste any more time. Let's move right on. Don't need to say much about that intro. The intro speaks for itself. Oh yeah, and of course I just noticed this thing dropped on 420. Which also fits in with the whole drugs theme that I'm assuming this will have. Now with that being said, now let's go into KOD, track number 2. Sounds like we're getting a bit of a banger from Cole. Okay.
This is what you call a flip. 10 keys from a car to brick. Wow. Niggas been cramping my style.
Whoa.
Blowing my high, they wanna reply. The number 1 question is how? How does it feel now that you own? How much you worth? How big is your home? This gigantic is big as the fucking Atlantic. I'm lit, bitch. This is what you call a flip.
I feel like whenever someone says I'm lit, it never sounds cool, ever. It's weird but interesting hearing them over this kind of production, you know?
I grew up only fuel to love. Remember I got my first fuel to blood. I'm hanging out in the
God damn.
My homie got pharmaceutical plug. I smoke the drug and they run through my veins. I think it's working, it's numbing the pain.
Man, j.cole is flowing very well over this. He's using, I guess, what you would call a kind of more typical mainstream rap flows on here. And that is something that's quite nice to hear. It sounds pretty good, and I'm assuming he's rapping from the perspective of someone else here. That's what I'm thinking. First listen, I don't really pick up the lyrics that much, but what I'm going to do after I listen to this track, I'm going to read over the lyrics a little bit and just try and figure out, you know, the kind of perspective he's rapping from here.
Like this shit daily. So much activists that they should pay me. Perfect on practices, baby. A practice made perfect on practices, baby. Black so crazy, he serve a few passes, he jack a Mercedes, he shoot up the police, he clap ladies, he don't give a fuck if them crackers gon' hang him.
God damn, he went in on that last part.
And the strongest drug of them all. Love.
Okay, are we leading into a bit of a nice love song with that outro there? So yeah, he's either referring, I think, to himself when he was younger here, or he's rapping from the perspective of someone else that has sold drugs, you know, 10 keys from a quarter brick, obviously Cocaine. Yeah, that was a very good track, a very kind of exciting track, you know. One of the common criticisms brought up by J. Cole, not one that I always agree with, but one that I actually sometimes agree with, is that he can be boring sometimes. This track was not boring, especially the second verse. He went off on that second verse, you know. Hearing him over kind of trap production is something we don't hear often, so it was nice to have a little switch up. Hearing him flow like he did on the second verse is something we do not hear often. He usually kind of opts for, you know, a little bit of a slower flow, not proper like slow, but slower than most people. But I almost got kind of Kendrick vibes a little bit from that second verse. And you know, that might seem like the typical comparison, you know, everyone compares J. Cole and Kendrick, but that's the vibe I got from the second verse. But it had enough of J. Cole's own style in it for me to just, you know, recognize it as his writing style, you know. Next up, let's continue this streak. Come on. Track number 3, Photograph, which, assuming from the end of that song, I'm assuming this is going to be a love song. Oh, God. Damn. Okay, so this is like a social media type thing. Okay, so just from the hook there, this is one thing that I think, like I said about the J. Cole and Kendrick comparisons recently, I think this is kind of what separates J. Cole from Kendrick, is that J. Cole is a lot more kind of on the nose with what his songs mean, you know. I'd say Kendrick has more of a covert meaning to his songs. J. Cole has an overt meaning to his songs, because just from that hook straight away, you can tell that this is him like kind of falling in love with someone from only seeing them on social media. And then he says at the end of the hook, and it's messing with my health. So straight away, you know exactly what the song is about, exactly what it's going to be. And I don't mind that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the that's the key difference for me right there. And it's another thing that's talking about kind of like, this looks like it's talking about social media addiction. So addiction really is the theme that I'm kind of seeing through here. Yeah, this is dope. And it sounds really good as well. Let's continue.
Damn, I love your sense of humor. You don't get caught up in rumors. You don't be talking about who fucking who, and I notice the way you maneuver.
And his flow has changed. It's changed, but in a good way.
Blind, your type is harder to find. You can turn water to wine, yeah. You can turn water to wine, feel me?
I'm noticing, I mean, this is just from the track KOD, and this one, he does seem to be repeating lines a lot more, which is cool. It's just not something I necessarily enjoy that much, because when you repeat it so much, it looks like it's kind of to fill space. And he has like the "you could turn water to wine," he repeated that 4 times here. I get why he's emphasizing it. It's kind of like, yo, you just see this girl through social media and you think she's like Jesus already. But yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of when repetition gets used a lot. That's such a relaxed hook. Ironically, I feel like a lot of people are gonna smoke weed to this track because it's got that relaxed sounder in the hook.
But I can't come up with nothing, no. But I can't come up with nothing.
There's repetition again.
I shoot my shot in the brick, yeah. I shoot my shot in the brick.
This is Gucci. This is Gucci gang, man. Yes. 3 tracks in. I already love this so far. I'm hoping this strong streak continues, because I remember I did love the first 3 tracks of For Your Eyes Only, and I didn't really like the rest. But this is a strong start to KOD. It's really cool how this whole thing is kind of like, you know, with the kids on drugs part of the album title. It's all about, you know, addictions and stuff, and this was about addiction to social media, kind of getting obsessed with a girl through that. See, fell in love through a photograph. It's talking about like a picture on her social media. It's a couple lines talking about trying to slide into those DMs, you know, shooting your shot. Very cool track, and it's interesting, again, like I mentioned it before, to hear Cole using these more kind of mainstream sounding flows. I think there was a triplet flow in there, which is really cool. Very well done. KOD and Photograph are fantastic already. So, next up, we've got the Cutoff featuring Kill Edward. Now, because nobody else has heard of Kill Edward before, people are assuming that this is like a J. Cole alter ego, which makes sense. You know, J. Cole likes to really do his albums by himself, you know, the whole platinum with no features thing. But does this count? Like, I want you guys to let me know in the comments, do you think if this album goes platinum, does it count as having no features if this is J. Cole's alter ego? I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that. I personally think it shouldn't count just because it says featuring on there. But that's how I feel. But let's go. Track number 4, The Cutoff featuring Kill Edward. Yep, that's what I thought it would be. J. Cole using like vocal effects to, you know, kind of have an alter ego type thing going.
Give me drink, give me smoke, give me high, let me flow. I'm a cloud, coming down, put me down, chill now, I don't know. Give me drink, give me smoke.
All the vocal effects are making the hook sound a bit off to me. Don't know if I'm feeling Kill Edward.
I never fantasize about murder cause I'm still sane. But I can't seem to fight this urge to make you feel pain.
God damn. Much more relaxed vibe on this one. Okay, Kill Edward coming in with the singing. Parts of it sounds good with the Kill Edward thing, but some of it just sounds a little off. I think I could easily say that that was my least favorite track so far, but it still wasn't bad. Photograph and KOD were definitely better than that song in my opinion, because I'm not too sure how I feel about the whole Kill Edward thing. It's cool. I like the idea of it. The whole alter ego thing has been around in rap for so long, and it's always pretty cool to see someone utilize it in different ways. So this is just cool, you know, rapping with different vocal effects, and I think he's probably also a kind of different character to Cole. But yeah, like I said, there's just, because of all the vocal effects, it makes the chorus sounds kind of weird. Some lines on the bridge or the pre-chorus, the notes don't exactly hit so well. But yeah, J. Cole obviously on the verse here talking about some friends that weren't loyal to him, wanting to cause pain on this person but knowing that that's not the right thing to do. A lot of substance in here, which I really like. So track number 5, ATM. Let's go 5 for 5. Come on. Okay.
Count it up, count it up.
Oh.
Count it, count it up, count it up, count it up.
Some people might dislike it, but
Count it up, count it up.
I like when rappers do this like kind of mainstream sound, but with the meaning behind it, so that it's not just a typical mainstream song. I think this is cool.
I know that it's difficult. I'm stacking this paper, it's sort of habitual.
Oh.
I blow the residual and fucking your bitch like it's part of my ritual.
Okay, so this track is about money, obviously.
Dollars I count up in intervals. Without it, I'm miserable.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see the kind of message of this one. You know, I think what I'm seeing is it's about becoming too attached to money. Because, you know, he says, I know it's going to solve every problem I have. And I think he said somewhere, yeah, $1 million I count up in intervals. Without it, I'm miserable. So it's obviously about, you know, another thing about, like, literally the theme here is just addiction. You know, getting addicted to money here. It's got a more fast-paced sound than you typically hear on a J. Cole song. It's really kind of upbeat and bouncy, which is interesting because it has a bit of a deeper message to it. It's cool. I like this.
Niggas that hated it slowly endorsing. Not Cody important. My niggas beside me like Tommy and Martin.
Well, 5 for 5, guys. 5 songs. Not a bad one yet. Not a bad one yet. Another really good track. I like the high energy on that one. The kind of drums were a lot faster, a lot bouncier. Cole, of course, matched that with his flow, which was perfectly fitted to the beat. And you know, it's all just about prioritizing money over everything. Because of the more upbeat sound, it almost sounds like it's glorifying it in a way. But if you look at the actual lyrics, it doesn't sound like this person is living the happiest life. You know, they put all their happiness into money. That's never a good thing to do, because money can go like that. I'm liking every single track so far. Each one has a distinctive message that all relates to a singular theme, and I think that's fantastic. Go on to track number 6, Motivate.
I can't have no sympathy for fuck, nigga. All the shit I seen done made my blood, nigga. Motivate, 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 motivate.
He's really experimenting on here, and I fucking love it.
And they don't speak English, but the money is something that they can complain day. And I got bread like I'm Green Day. Too many times I swallow my pride, I'm cracking a smile, I'm dying inside, my demons are close, I'm trying to...
That bit of the song sounds so good. Okay, I think that was a decent track. I really like the refrain on that. The way he's kind of experimented with his vocals throughout this whole thing is really admirable, and it's made each song sound very different. You know, the first verse, he kind of used a deeper voice than he typically raps in. And, you know, with that refrain, he's got this really soft delivery, and it makes it sound more catchy. This one, I feel like it didn't really tackle the topic as much as the previous songs did. I feel like it didn't necessarily say anything particularly interesting about its subject, you know. I did like the beat. That bass line on the beat was very nice, very catchy. I just feel like this one kind of hit its message home a bit weaker than the other ones have. I think the Cutoff is still my least favorite track so far, but Motivate wasn't fantastic. It was an okay track. Right, so let's go into track number 7, which is Kevin's Heart. I just realized this when I said it, but I don't know if that relates to Kevin Hart in any way. I don't know. Maybe it's a little play on words, maybe not. But let's get into it.
That I was done for good and don't want no more lies. But my phone be blowing up, temptations on my line. Slip me a Zanny at once. I got the earth and the blunt. All a nigga know is how to fuck a good thing up. Run from the pain, sip lean, smoke tree up. Lover, I don't wanna lose you. I'm selfish, I know that I use her. My ego gets stroked and I bruise her. My ego gets stroked and I bruise her.
Repetition again. That was cool. I like that track. Very relaxed kind of sound to it. Very laid back. I had no clue that this happened, but luckily I'm on Rap Genius. Apparently this is referencing when Kevin Hart admitted to cheating on his wife. That perfectly fits in with the theme of the song. You know, it all looks like it's about cheating on someone. I did quite like all the singing on this one. It sounded very nice. Got another good track, guys. Another good track. This thing is very solid so far. So let's go into track number 8, which is Brackets.
Niggas hating on me, I ain't used to that. Know a couple people want to shoot for that.
Is that the hook? Interesting.
Hell yeah, boy, I'm a goddamn millionaire now. Hold up, this is my phone real quick. This is my Uncle Sam and shit.
Pay taxes, so much taxes, shit don't make sense.
Okay, so it's all about taxes.
I guess they say my dollar's supposed to build roads and schools, but my niggas barely graduate. They ain't got the tools. Maybe cause the tax dollars that I make sure I send get spent hiring some teachers that don't look like them.
This whole track is talking about paying your taxes and wondering where that tax money actually goes. And Cole here is specifically talking about where that money should be going, you know, to like underprivileged schools, and you know, helping them build up and helping people get a better education. That's where he wants his money to go, but he's saying he doesn't see it going there, and that's another great message on here.
If I'm giving y'all this hard-earned bread, I wanna know. Better yet, let me decide. Bitch, it's 2018. Let me pick the things I'm funding from an app on my screen.
It's a very good point. Like, why can you not pick what your tax money goes to? Like, this song is actually making me think.
Wiping tears away, grabbing her keys and sunglasses. She remembered that she gotta file her taxes. Damn.
That's a cool story. It came full circle towards the end of the verse there. That was nicely thought out. Yeah, that one I wasn't too sure how I was feeling about it at first. You know, the first verse was a little bit slow. It didn't really say too much of anything. You know, then we have the chorus, which is just him saying whoa, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. The first kind of 2.5 minutes maybe, I didn't really think there was much going on. Then it got to that little skit where he was using like the high-pitched voice, talking about being a millionaire, and then, you know, Uncle Sam telling him he's got to pay half of his money to tax. And, you know, he's kind of saying, what, are you insane? Why are you taking that much of my money? And then the second verse is where things really picked up, and that second verse is the highlight of the song, you know, because it genuinely made me think. It's like, where does your tax money go? Why can't you choose where it goes? You know, and then saying that the congressman decides where the money goes, and then it goes into a company that makes guns, and then that gun gets used to, you know, kill someone in the hood. Oh my god, it's just the last, like, I think 16 or 8 bars or something like that at the end of the song tell a really cool story that comes full circle, all involving taxes and people, you know, the money going to making guns, someone getting killed. Man, that was just expertly told. I loved that. I loved that second verse. Was a bit shaky on the song at first, but it really picked up. That was fantastic. We're actually getting pretty close to the end of this thing. We only have 4 more tracks left. And the next one is Once an Addict, Interlude.
If we could only understand it all, would we feel no pain?
I don't know. I ain't gonna answer that question. There's way too much thinking I have to do there.
Mama ain't recovered yet. Calling me at 12 at night. She drunk as fuck and I'm upset. Cause why she always using me for crutch. Growing up, I always used to see her up. Latest shit.
It's about his mum being addicted to alcohol.
I tell her mama go to sleep. She tell me, boy, hush. You better pray to God you never get your heart crushed. I'm thinking to myself, maybe my mama need help. Don't she got work in the morning? Why she do this to herself? Well, maybe things
getting personal here. Just sitting here and absorbing this.
I wish I would have did more instead of running. Something's got a hold on me.
Another great song right there, man. That one That one was really personal, you know, talking about his mother's struggles with alcoholism and how it affected J. Cole, you know. Instead of dealing with his own life, he was just worrying about his mum all the time, kind of feeling like he should have helped her more. A very kind of hard-hitting track, you know, and it was delivered over this kind of minimalistic production that really kind of put the emphasis on what Cole was saying. You know, there weren't many other instruments other than a bass line and drums on that one. Probably one of the most personal tracks on here so far, and another song that I thoroughly enjoyed. Track number 10, Friends, which is another one featuring your boy, Kill Edward.
I got thoughts, can't control, got me down, got me low.
Yeah, I like the concept of Kill Edward, but honestly I'm just not feeling the way he sounds.
Some niggas graduated the patter. I dabbled later, I doubt it. My database of narcotics is growing long, but I'm aggravated.
Very nice rhyme scheme on here.
Shit to talk about the word addiction. To my niggas out there sitting, I hope you're listening. I understand this message is not the coolest to say, but if you down to try it, I know of a better way. Meditate, medicate, cop another bag of smoke.
Are we gonna end this with a Logic? I smoke weed! I've got to say, the two with Kill Edward have actually both been my least favourite tracks so far. Not feeling the way that he sounds, but also those songs have just been, I don't know, I really like the beat on the Cutoff. The one here was cool. They're just, like the last song, there wasn't much to it, and I guess, again, that's putting the focus on, you know, J. Cole's lyrics. But having two tracks in a row like that, it's a little bit, it kind of drags a little bit, so I liked what he was saying on the verses. I just didn't like this song as a whole that much. Also, at the end of the verse, he says, "I understand this message is not the coolest to say, but if you're down to try it, I know of a better way. Meditate." Saying that meditation is a better idea than taking drugs. And honestly, I didn't think that sounded that corny. I think that was a good message. But then he went into the pre-chorus saying, meditate, 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 meditate. Don't medicate. And then it started to sound a bit like a corny message. Like, you didn't need to put that pre-chorus in there. And now let's go to the outro that isn't the last track on the album, Window Pane, which just reminds me of the Eminem lyric, which I didn't think was too bad of a lyric, honestly. The whole window pane thing, a lot of people say that's a horrendous lyric. I think it's semi-smart.
My mom had heard 3 gunshots. It was to my cousin. He been shot right through the face, right in the neck, and he got shot right in the stomach.
All I wanna do is touch a platinum plaque and celebrate. All I wanna do is keep my niggas out the yellow tape. The little girl I met this past summer said, "Don't forget me, I won't forget you. How could I with all you went through? A bullet hit your cousin in temple while he was with you. And while you was talking, I was tearing up, where's the tissue? That I'm sorry for the pain you had to live through. I know I'm blessed because your stress is realer than anything I done been through."
Damn, I didn't talk through that entire verse. I was just listening to what he was saying. At the end of that verse, that was him referring back to the story at the start where the little girl was telling the story of how her cousin got shot. You know, J. Cole kind of talking to her and I think realizing that, you know, he's blessed because that little girl must be going through some stuff if that's what's happened. You know, her cousin just getting shot and she knows about it.
Because God is trying to warn us or teach us a lesson. He's coming back to have us be his children and for us to see him for the first time, so we can rejoice with him and have all time. And after we do that, he's gonna restart the world.
I can only hope that she's right. We need a little restart on the world right now. Let's just go back, take it from scratch. We can start without Lil Xan, thank you very much, and restart the world. I hope what this little girl is saying is what's going to happen. And yeah, actually, that was it's not the last track on the album, but that was the outro, essentially. So I guess that's the whole KOD theme over. Okay, that's pretty cool. And on Genius, it says, you know, there's 2 KODs that we can choose. We can either kill our demons or be kids on drugs. That's pretty cool. I like that. You know, taking multiple meanings from one acronym is a really cool idea. It was employed very well throughout this whole album. Now, technically that is the album over, but let's just listen to the next track and the final track on the album, which is 1985, which it says is the intro to The Fall Off. I don't know what The Fall Off is. Is it another J. Cole solo album? Is it some sort of... I don't know. You know, it leaves a lot of questions. Ending your album on a track that is an intro to another project, I think that's very interesting. You know, is it a mixtape? Is it an album? Is it an EP? Is it any of those things? Maybe that will be answered by what the intro track is, but it's very intriguing. It's a very interesting thing to do, and I don't think I've ever seen it done before, which is really cool. So let's go into 1985, the intro to the Fall Off.
1985, I arrived. 33 years, damn, I'm grateful I survived. We wasn't supposed to get past 25. Everybody say the music that they make is dumb. I remember I was 18. Money, pussy, parties, I was on the same thing.
Is he saying there that, I'm not too sure, but is he saying there that we shouldn't, you know, judge the young people that make music nowadays? Because I think that's a fair enough point, because J. Cole is saying here, when he was 18 years old, he was into all that stuff, money, pussy, and parties. So I think this is Cole saying that, you know, maybe we shouldn't be too harsh on these rappers, which is a fair enough message. You know, I don't think we should instantly judge people because they talk about things like money and having sex and partying and stuff. I don't think we should automatically judge rappers from that. One of my favorite acts in rap music is Ray Shrimmered, and they pretty much just make party music. And I love their music. If I automatically judged them just because they talk about drugs and parties, then I'd be missing out on a rap group that I love. So I agree with that message that even if you don't like what they're promoting, you can call them out for that or whatever. We shouldn't automatically judge them because of the content of their music. At least I think that's what he's saying. And if it is, I agree with that.
Tell them what they should do. Who the fuck am I?
Here we go.
If them diss me, I'm surprised.
Oh.
I ain't tripping, listen good to my reply.
Is that, I hope that's talking about Lil Pump or Smoke Perp, because, you know, I think they released a diss track called Fuck J. Cole. I don't know if Smoke Perp and Lil Pump just do that as a joke. You can never tell when those guys are serious, so maybe that's who he's referring to, maybe not. I think that's aimed at Lil Pump or Smoke Perp, who said he was going to be featured on this album, which was obviously a troll. You're not going to release a song called Fuck J. Cole and then be on his album. Like, I'm assuming that's aimed at them, so that's interesting.
I got some good advice, never quit torn, cause that's the way we eat here in this rap game. I'm fucking with your funky little rap name. I must say, by your songs I'm unimpressed, hey.
Whoa.
But I love to see a black man get paid. And plus you having fun and I respect that. But have you ever thought about your impact?
Okay, so I like that. He's almost like respectfully tackling the issue in the way, because at the start of the song, he was like, you know, don't judge them just for the music they make. And here he's saying, I'm kind of unimpressed that your songs sound lackluster, and, you know, you should think about the impact that you have on children. I don't know if he is talking about Lil Pump, though, because Pump isn't technically black, right? He says, but I love to see a black man get paid. Maybe it's referring to just Smoke Perp. Maybe it's neither of those guys. Maybe I'm just completely off with that.
These white kids love that you don't give a fuck, cause that's exactly what's expected when your skin black. I know you think this type of revenue is never ending, but I wanna take a minute just to tell you that ain't true. When dating kids is listening, gon' grow up and get too old for that shit that made you blow up.
That's a very good point. You're gonna have to evolve how you make music, because the kids that got into your music in the first place are gonna grow up eventually. You know, they're gonna move past that. They're gonna mature past that type of music.
I wish you good luck. I'm hoping for your sake that you ain't dumb as you look. But if it's
okay, that was a bit of a shock.
Just remember what I told you when your shit flop. In 5 years, you gonna be on Love and Hip Hop.
God damn, he's really going in towards the end of that. Wow, man. I'm excited for this project, The Fall Off, already, man. I'm excited for that, because that was a fantastic intro. It had a very straightforward subject, you know? It was literally just him talking to supposedly Smoke Perp or Lil Pump, kind of giving them advice and dissing them a little bit along the way, you know, telling them that people look up to him, and kind of like, you know, saying that to some of these kids, you kind of represent black people to these white kids, so you should represent that responsibly and not just following trends, because in the long run, that's going to give you short run success, but in the long run, you're just going to disappear, and that's something I agree with. And Cole also says, you know, Cole himself has longevity because he's willing to do his own thing instead of just hopping on a trend that's going to get him popping for like 10 minutes. So, overall thoughts on KOD by J. Cole. I was not expecting to love this much. Like I said, I am a fan of J. Cole. I think he puts out great music, but he's not in my top 10. After this, he's still not necessarily in my top 10, but that is a fantastic album. One of the best of this year so far. That was really damn good. There was, you know, my two least favorite tracks were just the Kill Edward ones, Friends and the Cutoff. And Motivate as well. So Friends, the Cutoff, and Motivate were all my least favorite tracks. Picking favorites, that's going to be the hard thing here. Picking my favorite tracks is going to be the difficult thing, because every other track I thought was pretty damn good. I really like the theme of the album. I really like the concept. It tied into every single track. And you know, at the end, it all comes around to you can either pick to kill off your demons or be a kid on drugs. It's a good message to send through. It's a very relevant message to right now. And the only thing I will say is he could have chose a better way to display it on the album cover, because the album cover looks like so in your face that it's ridiculous. It's also kind of got songs for everyone, I'd say. Maybe not necessarily everyone, but what I mean by that is you got a lot of kind of chill, relaxed songs, some very deep, thoughtful songs, but closer to the start of the album, you had some pretty much trap banger songs that still had a message. So, I mean, there's something kind of here for everybody. I think that is amazing. J. Cole did a fantastic job with this one. This could end up being either my favorite or second favorite J. Cole album. Obviously, I can't predict how this album is going to grow on me over time, but I'm just assuming that I could definitely see this being better than Born Sinner. I could definitely see this being better than Cold World for me. The only one I'm not sure is definitely better than For Your Eyes Only. I can say that without a doubt. Do I see it becoming better than 2014 Forest Hills Drive for me? I do not know, but that's something that we're going to find out in the future. That is what I think of this album. I think it's very damn good, you know? And hopefully we just don't have people on Twitter acting like they're gods because they listen to J. Cole. It's becoming the equivalent of a Rick and Morty fan base sometimes. You know, you got like, I'd say like 60% of Twitter actually hates J. Cole, but the 40% that likes him, some of them act like the Rick and Morty fan base. You know, they're all like, oh, I listen to J. Cole. I am so intelligent, my brain is massive. You know, let's not be like that about this album. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this project. I was actually almost kind of blown away in a sense by how much I enjoyed this. This was a great album. Make sure to subscribe to my twin's channel, CDTV Productions, where he will be uploading some type of video on this. He might upload a review, he might upload a best songs from this album video, who knows, but make sure to subscribe over there. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat under that name, CDTV Productions. Me and my twin just share the account. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like I said, let me know what you think of this, and I will see you guys all in the next one. This is your boy, CDTVThaG, signing out.